Meta AI gets an upgrade, and Meta also releases a new AR smart glass and new VR headset. TikTok launches a new innovative content type called Flip Stories. Pinterest launches two new features, collage remixing and collage sharing. More details about these three and important news items related to Google Notebook LM and YouTube coming up in this week's edition of the Connected Church News with me, Nachi Lazarus. Welcome. This is the show that brings you the top 5 digital, social media, AI, and emerging tech news that you need to know for this week in just 5 minutes. Let's get started. Meta had a big week with their Meta Connect 2024 events. The product announcement include a new, cheaper VR headset called Quest 3S. They also announced their very first AR smart glass called Orion. I was most impressed with its ability to do live translation. So I can wear the glass, speak in one language, and the person listening to me, if they have the glass, can hear me in another language. But the biggest impact for Meta immediately is going to come from their announcements related to AI. They're rolling out Meta AI into Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. So you can now have a voice chat with Meta AI, generate images, edit images, and even have your content like Instagram Reels translated into other languages. Finally, Llama 3.2 model has been launched, which might create a big impact in the AI space because it's open source, it's light, and it's capable of running on devices independently. Google has announced two new features to its already popular AI tool called NotebookLM. NotebookLM is a notes app where you can bring in various sources of knowledge like Google Docs or PDFs, and you can interact with all that information just like you would with ChatGPT. But the only difference, which made it really big within the AI community, is that it can generate something called an audio overview. It goes through all your documents or the knowledge that you shared, and it produces an audio overview like a podcast interview where two AI-generated voices talk about the content of your documents. How awesome is that? If you haven't tried out this tool, I highly recommend you try it out. And now they've added this feature where you can bring in YouTube URLs and audio files as a source. And they also say that you will be able to share these audio overviews using a public link. TikTok has released a new feature, a new type of content called Flip Stories that lets you share a story with two steps. For example, let's say you're going on a vacation, you can share a before and after picture. You can take a picture while you're at airport number 1, and then your second picture will be when you arrive at the destination. When you post the airport picture, it has a button called hold to flip. And when people hold on to it for a few seconds, it turns and they can see the next part of the story, which is when you reach the destination. Imagine the increase in the engagement. There are lots of creative ways to use this, like a before-after picture, or get people interested in something that you reveal, like a launch, like the way TikTok keeps coming up with innovative features that keep people hooked onto the platform. I'm sure it's a matter of time before Instagram comes up with something like this. YouTube has released a new report related to Gen AI and creators around the world. I wanted to bring this report to your attention because it's important for us as churches, nonprofits, and ministries to understand how Gen AI is impacting the whole creator economy, where creators are influencing millions of people around the world. For example, it has statistics that talk about a percentage of creators believe that Gen AI will help them produce better content. In what ways? How creators think that Gen AI will help them reach a global audience using auto dubbing and features that translate their content. It also talks about some of the pressing issues with AI where certain number of creators, I think 74% of the creators, are saying hopefully there will be regulations and guidelines to Gen AI and the way we use it in social media. Lots of interesting perspectives and insights. We will link to it in the show notes. Download the report, share it with your team, and maybe discuss on how these things might impact your ministry. Pinterest has released two new features related to collage. So if you are a church, nonprofit, or ministry that uses Pinterest, then this could be big for you because now people can create a remix with a collage. The announcement says collage remixing lets users collaborate, build on, and use existing collages on Pinterest as a starting point for their own creativity. This is something that would help in a ministry setting because if you are a church, then it's hard for you to get people to come up with their own content. Whereas you produce the content, you create the collage in your church account, and it's easy for people to just take it and remix it. The second feature is called collage sharing. You can now ask your people to share your collage as a video. Now that short videos are one of the top forms of content, people can now download your collage in a video format and quickly share it with their audience. Pass this information on to your social media team. If you have any questions, thoughts, or comments about any of the stories, then do DM me at Nachi Lazarus on Instagram, and we will make sure we get you all the answers. You can also simply leave a comment wherever you're listening to me. That is also a good way to get in touch with us. I'll see you next week with another set of news items. Until then, you stay connected and stay blessed. God bless you. Bye-bye.